Hi everyone, it's Linda Ockrod-Jenner here, co-founder of the Small Business Community Network. And I'm happy to be enjoying another SBCN Small Biz podcast with Diane Krompart, sensitive soul coaching and mentoring. Did I get it right, Diane?
Yes, you did. Very well done, Linda. Yay!
It's been a very long day. I love the sunshine, but when you get up very early in the morning, as we do, to start our work, sometimes we have a moment where we go, and I'm having that moment. So I received your newsletter today, and I found it very interesting, Diane.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
Really good points in there.
Yeah, what interested you the most?
Would you believe it's quantum physics?
Okay.
So last time you and I had a really lovely chat and you introduced yourself and talked a little bit about, who you are and what you do and everything. And Dave, the other co-founder of the Small Business Community Network, he's very much into quantum physics, and I'm very much into energy, and I wanted to show off this crystal that I'm wearing, the healing crystal. So my brother, who lives in England, when I had diagnosed with breast cancer for the second time, he sent me a beautiful crystal over and said it was a healing crystal. And this is my second one, because the first one he gave me, I actually passed on as a gift to someone who was dying of cancer, one of my friends.
Right.
And I hoped it would ease her spiritual pain, pain in some way, because she knew she wasn't going to survive. And then my brother, very kindly sent me another crystal over. So I thought it would be really nice to wear it, tonight for us. So how does quantum physics come into the kind of work you do, Diane?
Well, I think what that is quantum physics is now providing the science behind what the ancient Egyptians discovered and talked about centuries ago, which is that everything has a frequency. And quantum physics, here, I'll give you a little indication of something that really struck me and that I thought, yes, they've got it. I was watching a Discovery show with my husband a couple of years ago, and in it they were, it was the whole thing about quantum physics and what they're discovering in terms of, when they split, whether it's the molecule or whatever it was they were splitting, and they sent one to, the other side of the earth, so to speak, and they affected the one on this side, and what happened to this one happened to that one as well.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so really what they're saying is, in terms of energy work, is that thoughts are energy, intentions are energy, and our physical bodies are the most densest part of the spectrum. So energetically, things are happening all around us. Just like, radio waves and all these amazing, cell phones, all of this, everything is a frequency. And it will affect us to the point where it eventually goes into the densest part of our beings, which is our bodies.
Now, you explained that really well, and I think what we touched on last time we did a podcast as well was the fact that you and I are very alike in the sense that we soak up other people's emotions. Is that to do with our energy per se? It's actually more to do with the way our brains are wired. Dr. Elaine Aron was the one who did research, good 20 or so years ago, and discovered that 20% of the population are born highly sensitive. We have very sensitive nervous systems, and our brains process a lot of information, and what we also process, of course, is energy coming from others. And so really, as highly sensitives, we have to learn how to manage our energy so that from the beautiful gifts we have of being able to really pick up stuff from others, but also learn how to keep our boundaries so that it doesn't overwhelm us. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So you mentioned the energy around us. So thousands of years ago, what kind of energy was around the people who lived then? When you mentioned in this day and age, say cell phones and other noisy things, what would have been the energy around, if that's possible to answer?
Right. Well, I'm going to just take a guess. And, just knowing that we know that there weren't cell phone frequencies, and, the nearest town or village or city was thousands of miles away, let's say, or hundreds of miles away. I think people were less overwhelmed by external energy. I think they still had the same problems as we do. They worried about their families. They worried about survival. They worried about getting food on the table, working very hard, conditions of their life. They weren't probably all that different than we are now. And in fact, when I work with so many of my clients, really what they're bringing me is being overwhelmed by worrying about the planet, about their children, about, all of these things. It's the same sort of thing, only I believe it's 3 times worse, 10 times worse, 100 times worse, because of all this information and, technological world, and we're so, quote, connected, and yet we are so disconnected.
This is a worry, and also all the new technology and everything that goes with it, and all the things that make our lives easier, I think makes life more challenging for us. So I guess in days gone by, it would have been easier for a healer like yourself to help the people versus today, because I'm sure you say to people, turn your cell phone off, turn your TV off, walk instead of driving your car. And we're very prone to ignore all that advice, aren't we?
Well, that's why I got into meditation years and years ago, because I didn't know then I was a highly sensitive person. I was really, experiencing all the frazzled nerves and anxiety and depression and all of that as a result of being affected by it all. And I turned to meditation. I knew I had to somehow get my system quiet. And in fact, it's funny you mention that, because today I was just writing a letter to the participants who are going to be coming to do a meditation workshop with me at the end of the month. And I said at the bottom of the letter, and I said, and please make sure you turn your cell phones off and not use them during the entire time in this workshop. And, and it's sort of like you have to spell that out to people, and people are so addicted, to their cell phones. And, and actually the other thing that's happened is one of my clients, who is a reflexologist, has asked me to facilitate another retreat. It's a 2-night, 3-day retreat in July. And she's had a few of these retreats with me, and she has just been stunned by the fact that everyone fears coming to a retreat and having to spend time in silence. It's like, I can't do that. I can't not talk for so many hours. Yet, when they experience it, it's sort of like, wow, it's like, really, not only could they do it, but it's interesting what they noticed. A, they really didn't miss their cell phones. B, they spent more time in nature. They took walks around the forest and walked the labyrinth and lay down under the trees, took a nap, and they were just like, and they didn't eat very much. They thought they'd be snacking, because normally when we are just eat mindlessly. And they were just amazed that they thought they'd be so bored that they would have to just go to the kitchen and snack all day long. And they didn't.
I guess I haven't enjoyed one of your retreats, Diane, but myself and my family love to go up north to Algonquin. And we're in tents, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I guess what we're telling, our listeners, small business owners, large corporations, anybody out there who's particularly working in a small business, because I think there's a lot more responsibility when you're doing it all yourself. What we're saying is, really, Yeah, it's lovely to come to you, Diane, and you can help us. But they can help themselves, can't they, by switching off their technology for a bit and going for a walk. That is a good healing process, isn't it?
It is. And in fact, a lot of the quote coaching and mentoring I do is giving them, sort of sitting them down and saying, okay, what is your challenge? Well, I can't settle down. I've got too much on my mind. I can't sleep, and so then we look at, well, how do you want to be? What is your vision, right? Yeah. How do you, and then what are the baby steps we're going to take to get there? And I mean baby steps. So I can't just say to someone, okay, well, I want you to go without your cell phone for a full day. No, that's not going to happen. And, so we have to start with baby steps. We have to say, okay, are you willing to maybe sit down for 5 minutes? I'm going to teach you a breathing exercise that you can do. Or if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't fall back asleep, I'm going to teach you a little breathing exercise that will help you shift your hormonal system and your physiology and settle it right down so that you can fall asleep. Would you like to do that? So, Diane, and they go, sure.
Are you saying that we shouldn't be getting up when we wake up in the middle of the night and switching our computers on and doing some work? We shouldn't do that.
Don't do that. No,
I don't do that. I'm sure a lot of us do. So this is really, really interesting because it's that time of year, I guess. We're still in that time of year where people are struggling to do their income taxes, accounting, stuff like that. So if they're feeling overwhelmed, and is it a case of you just walk away from it, you do some breathing exercises and basically turn off, all the noise for a while? That really would help, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would help, but I think what's even more important is to start learning self-care proactively so that when we do experience these intense times, and I will give you a perfect example of what happened to me, and I hope I don't burst into tears, but on Friday, my husband and I had to bring our beloved cat, Osiris, to the vets.
Oh, no.
He really took a turn for the worse. He was 18 years old, and I lost my little boy. So it was a tough day, and yet I had back-to-back coaching calls. I had a group of students coming in on Saturday that I needed to work with. And, what was interesting was I asked for support, and I even, when I worked with my clients or my students on Saturday, I said, okay, here's the situation, and so I'm going to be your model. Here is someone who will come to you who is basically taking really good care of themselves, is kind of, doing things proactively, but she's in a very intense time right now. She's just lost her beloved pet, and, so healer, what are you going to do with me? And it was just amazing. Yeah. So they were able to work with me. Yeah. Well, they had to really respond and pull out all the things they've been learning from me in terms of allowing me to tell my story, allowing me to feel my pain. And then they've been training and teaching in some various actually ancient Egyptian energy techniques, hands-on energy techniques. And I said, who would like to give me a treatment? I need a treatment. Wow. My energy is not too bad, but I'm probably lower than all of you today. And it doesn't mean that it's going to continue that way forever. No. Doesn't mean I'm going to fall into a depression. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means today I'm in pain and I need attention. And so one of them did graciously give me a treatment, and I finished my weekend. Yes, it's a fragile, tender time, but by and large, I was able to continue to do my work. I was able to serve, and I knew what to do how to take care of myself. And I know that all this week I need to be more gentle with myself and get to bed earlier because I did lose a lot of sleep. Yeah. And journal and practice what I preach.
That is a sad story, but a really good example, Diane, of we all go through similar experiences. Yeah. We used to have 5 cats at one time.
5 babies.
Yeah, we had 4 brothers, and then we got 1 girl, then a brother passed away from diabetes, then we got the sister of the girl, our family. And when our last one, we had to let him go, Mr. Blue, he was almost 25. I cried, the tears wouldn't stop. And the only way I could heal myself was to think that more about the cat than me, that he was in a better place.
Right.
So basically, that's a wonderful story. And, you know, we all work very hard, and we sometimes think we've got to carry on and we can't give up. We can't let our clients down. So you didn't give up on your students, but you turned it around so your students helped you. And this is very much a small business perspective, isn't it? Seek help, reach out and ask people for help. And that's a really good, it's a really good story to share, Diane. So I hope you're feeling better. I mean, it's an ongoing process, isn't it? Healing?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the topic is healing, and it's an ongoing process. And with wonderful people like you in the world to offer us these perspectives and these classes, I mean, what would we do without you? I think the world's gone a bit silly at the moment, whether it's politics, terrorism, you know, everything's going on in the world. So to be able to come to someone like you and learn how we can actually live with the everyday stresses, that's absolutely amazing. So you've got a busy few weeks coming up, I guess?
Lots of client work. The year-long energy healing training program that I'm running right now, we're going to be ending in June, and it continues. So year 2 of the training program is going to continue.
For our listeners, you're very much like me. You make your short-term goals and your long-term goals, and you're already planning into next year. So this is a really good tip, isn't it, for anybody out there who thinks it's all about today. You have to plan ahead, don't you, Diane?
Right. And it's not necessary that I see the entire picture, but as I go along, it's sort of, you know, like I know that I'm doing my 30-day plans, you know, each month, but in my 30-day plans, I have my long-term list so that I'm always carrying over what is going to be coming up.
Yeah.
And so I know that I will continue with this particular group, with this training. I know I will continue to give workshops and continue to see private clients. And I kind of follow where the energy takes me and what I see is happening. And because I'm highly sensitive, I'm picking up not just from my students and my clients, I am picking up from the news. I am picking up from, you know, the shootings that are happening, right?
It's terrible.
It's a fear-based world, and we are all trying to control, you know, to keep safe. And so, you know, look at the way even I'm saying it, you know, it's like, as opposed to, you know, the only way I'm going to get through this is to
listening to you. You seem to have the perfect business for you. And once you're doing something you love and you're passionate about, it's fun and you want to wake up in the morning. Yes, we have challenges, but we carry on. But your organisational skills are also awesome. And that's a big part for any business, isn't it? You are organised, you are planning, you are preparing. This is why you're so successful. So it's been absolutely amazing.
Oh, has it ended already?
I know. Oh, no. and talking about quantum physics, Dave would be so proud of me. We were coming back on a plane from somewhere last year. I can't remember. Well, we were hopping to 5 different countries, plane to plane to plane. We were doing a 5-week tour for business. And I was watching, oh gosh, what's that scientist? He's dead now. He's been dead a long time. He had like messy hair. And he did what's that one that did the apple?
Stephen Hawking.
No. He's been dead longer than Stephen Hawking.
Einstein.
Einstein.
Yes,
So there's this thing. It was on the TVs on the plane, all about Einstein, and I was really hooked into it. And then I think we did the end of the 5 weeks, and it's not on the TV, so I desperately need to find that. But
Einstein is actually the one who said everything is energy.
Actually, that kind of piqued my interest because I remember that from when I was watching it. But the thing is you're very energetic. I'm very energetic. We help other people in the business world, and I can't wait till we have another chat, you know, during the next next podcast and you can enlighten us even more, because I guess what a lot of people want to know out there is it doesn't matter what kind of business we are operating, how do we get our clients, how do we advertise, do we do any social media? So in your line of work, that will be some really interesting chats. Again, I'm really sorry for the loss of your beautiful pet, and take the time to heal and look after yourself, and we'll chat soon, Diane.
Okay, thank you very much, Linda. Have a gentle rest of the evening.
And you. Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye.